It's been great to have the opportunity to talk to people who are on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've been talking to people around the world, but we've, of course, been really focused on the impact here in Canada. And I'm really delighted that I've got Neil Hetherington, who's the CEO of the Daily Bread Food Bank here in Toronto, with me today. Neil, thanks for being willing to take a minute out of your time and chat.
Really pleased to chat with you anytime, Michael.
And you're in the middle of your warehouse at the moment. Describe a little bit about where you are, what's around you.
Sure, I will give you a little bit of a tour, but so behind me is our warehouse, and every single one of those racks that you see, they go back about 150 feet and are three racks high. That supplies, during good times, the city of Toronto with about 10 days worth of food. So every 10 days that cycles out. Wow. So an enormous amount of food that we need to get out. But that's while things were good. That's when we were only serving 15,000 families per week.
And well, tell us a little bit about the impact of COVID. So how many are you serving now? What's been the increase in demand on the Daily Bread Food Bank services?
Yeah. So here's kind of what has happened. The demand has increased tremendously, and it increased much more sharply, more rapidly than we were anticipating. So the location that I'm at right now, on a typical afternoon, there would be about 100 families that would come to get 7 days worth of food from us, and now that's at about 300 to 350. And so then you multiply that by the 170 food programs that we support. Some of them have seen numbers like that. Most numbers are kind of in the range of about 30% increase. So you have an increased demand. And then on my supply side of food, individuals are not leaving food at the grocery store or at the fire halls for the Daily Bread Food Bank the way that they would. That has actually decreased by 65%. So we need to make up that difference through purchasing, and there has been a number of generous Canadians who have come forward and said, how can we be part of making sure that everybody who is food insecure has access to food, and they've made financial contributions.
Have you seen, we talked about the need now, of course, because the regular donations of foodstuffs and grocery stores have gone down, and you've had some donations. Have the donations kept up to the demand? Are you able to provide the support to these families who are really dealing with food insecurity in the city of Toronto?
That has been kind of an uplifting moment in what has gone on now. We have seen donations increase dramatically, and people say nobody should go without food. That's just a basic. And it calls into question, were we doing a good enough job in our advocacy program? We've been preaching this message that 1 in 7 Canadians are food insecure to begin with. And now individuals are sort of rising to the forefront saying, this is wrong. And it took a pandemic to make that happen.
Yeah, any opportunity that we have to even for a moment feel like we're stepping into somebody else's shoes. That I think there is this idea of shared pain, shared experience at the moment that I think is bringing us together. I hope it does bring out the very best of all of us in our community as Canadians. Food insecurity is such a critical issue for us at World Vision. In fact, globally, there's some discussion that this is less of a health issue as it is potentially a food issue. The World Food Program just this week said that the number of people who are acutely food insecure, that is not even sure where the next meal is coming from, is going to double. And that's from like 135 million to 265 million. I think there's some lessons that we can learn around thinking about food insecurity locally, nationally, and globally in a way that kind of expands our understanding. What do you think about that?
There's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack in there. What does it mean for supply chain issues? What does it mean for how the food is distributed? But ultimately, what does it mean in terms of making sure that there is food as a right being realized right across the globe? So we believe that food is a right, and access to food is a right, and the UN supports that position. And how do you make sure that that's realized?
We've been talking a little bit about some of the hidden heroes of this pandemic. You're definitely one of mine, so I want you to know that, and we're going to continue to pray for you and support you. Are there people that you're engaging with or somebody that comes to mind that you think of as a hidden hero?
Yeah, there's a number of them here that are coming in that are volunteers. So we've reduced our volunteer workforce from 120 to 20 regular volunteers. So each one of them is definitely a hidden hero. And then I think about the different churches that have opened up food banks and made the prayerful decision to continue to keep those food banks open, like the Churches on the Hill food bank, who has said it's not going to be easy for us, and they're staffed by individuals who are on the more sort of vulnerable side of things, and they've stayed open, and it's just those women and men who are constantly thinking about others ahead of themselves. But I would say it's those volunteers at the food banks and here at the Daily Bread that I think are those hidden heroes that we would not survive without, and the clients that we serve would not eat without.
That's fantastic. Neil, thanks for chatting with me today, praying for you, cheering you guys on. So glad that we get to partner together in this big calling of reaching hungry people around the world, and right here in Canada. You're doing an amazing job. Thanks for taking a few minutes of your time to speak with us.
Really, really happy to. Thank you.